Hello, Menty Breaky Queens, and welcome back to Menty Breaky. We missed a week, if you even care, if you even frickin' noticed. The reason we missed a week is because I recorded an episode and I was like, this is not good enough. This is not good enough for my queens. And at Menty Breaky, we value quality over quantity. So, as the description says, every Wednesday, unless at Monica Gross Comedy gets busy or is tired. And I guess I should add on or records an episode and then hates it a lot. I've also been told recently that it's very brave of me to be doing solo episodes. Don't tell people that they are brave. I don't think brave is a good word anymore. I think every time someone says you're brave, it's like, oh, that fucking is not as weird, but like I could never do that, but in a weird way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like someone was like, "Oh, it's really brave of you to be doing solo episodes, like talking to yourself for 20 minutes into a camera." And I was like, "I guess that's supposed to be a compliment." It's funny when I do stand-up comedy and I get off stage or my friends get off stage, and we kind of know we did poorly. Like, you know when you do bad, right? And then sometimes someone from the audience will come up to us. Like, I did this show and my friend didn't do that well, which, like, it happens. Doesn't mean he's not a good comedian. It just sometimes you don't get with the crowd. And this guy comes up to him and goes, "You know, you're really brave. You're really brave for doing stand-up comedy. Like, I could never do that. Like, all those people, like, it's really hard." And my friend, the poor guy, looked like he was gonna cry. And I was kind of just like laughing. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed, but I was dying. And then the guy looks at me being like, "I could never do that. Like, could you do that?" Because I hadn't gone up yet. And I was like, "No, I could never do that. Like, it's so brave." And then I went up like next. And I was just being a fucking troll. Anyways, I guess people have been interested in my egg freezing journey, so I'll get you guys updated. I think last time that I spoke about my egg freezing journey, I was saying how I was doing some of those initial consultation calls because they were free. Oh my God, I just had a flashback. Last night, I actually had so many dreams about egg freezing. Like, I dreamt that I went in somewhere and did like the first visit, but then I couldn't. Anyways, off topic, but I had, I guess, nightmares about egg freezing. So I did a few more initial consultations and I was getting so sick of the initial consultations because it's like a phone call, right? So when I was first doing them, I would be sitting in my house, like waiting for the phone call. And then I'm like, I don't fucking have time for this. So like the last consultation I did for an egg freezing place, I was just like in Dollarama. Like I was just in Dollarama and this person calls me and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 30 and I want to freeze my eggs." And this poor man beside me is just like trying to buy bread, like trying to buy his expired Dollarama Wonder Bread. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm single and 30. I want to freeze my eggs. Fuck it at this point, you know? Fuck it." So actually went and I did blood testing at Twig, which was like the expensive spa like one, but I actually hated it. Like I went in, it felt like a spa. I was like, this is a medical procedure. This isn't like a spa. And then I was sitting waiting for my ultrasound because you do blood testing and an ultrasound. And these like two men walked into the waiting area where I'm like in my robe, like waiting for my ultrasound. And they were like, "Yeah, this is where they sit waiting for the ultrasound and blood tests." And I was like sitting there, like, are we in an investor presentation right now? Like, are we trying to make a business deal? Like, I'm literally waiting to fucking get a stick up my vagina for an intravenous ultrasound. And you're just doing an investor fucking shareholder I hated it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm also going to make an appointment with the other place, which was Trio, because I was not pleased. And then Trio also had that was the one with the sale where they had the blood testing and the ultrasound the first visit like free. So I was like, fuck it. And I went, and it was actually like a medical environment, and there were no fucking male investors watching me in my robe waiting. How weird is that? Anyways, pisses me off. So then I went to Evolve and I did my blood testing and ultrasound there too. And that was like a week after I did the twig one. And they took a lot of blood. They took like, I want to say like 7 vials of blood. And then after the second one, I felt really sick. And I was like, am I supposed to be like giving this much blood in this short period of time? And then I tried to Google it, but I couldn't find like, is it okay to do 2 fucking blood for egg freezing tests back to back in 2 weeks? Probably because no one is that dumb to do that. Anyways, I felt sick for a few days, but I didn't die. So I guess I'm fine with the amount of blood that I gave. And then when I did the ultrasound in my vagina, they were like, have you done this before? And I was like, yeah. And I didn't want to say like last week, you know? It is kind of weird because it's like you could probably book like 10 blood tests at different facilities within the span of a week and then just keep going to blood tests and then like have no more blood and give too much blood and die. Could you imagine like suicide by a blood test? Because the different facilities wouldn't like talk to each other. Like, what if I just booked the blood test for all of the consultations and then gave out like, this is such a stupid rant. I think I've actually lost my mind. Anyways, so I think I'm going to stick with Evolve because then even after Twig, the spa one, did my blood test and ultrasound, they were like, we'll contact you for next steps. And they never did. And it's been like 3 weeks. So fuck Twig, fuck your investors, fuck everyone and everything. So I did book the follow-up with Evolve, but like I'm just a busy lady in May. Like May's a really busy month for me. So I ended up booking it at the end of May, which is also fine because I can't really do it until June anyways because I'm traveling in May. But that's what my nightmare was about. I was like at the egg freezing place and I was like, I cannot do this in May. And they were like, but you have to do it in May. We have no other options. And we already started your like procedure. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird when your dreams are so accurate to your life and you just wake up and you're like, was that real? And then you're like, even though I know that wasn't real, why did I dream that? Like, why did I dream it was such a fucking scene to not be able to do my egg freezing in May? Anyways, then with Evolve, I mean, I get this, but I was also kind of annoyed. There was like a mandatory training and they kept emailing me being like, you have to do your modules. You have to do your modules. I'm like, I'm paying you $8,000. I'm paying you $8,000 and you want me to do modules? Just let me know what the fuck is up. Like, bro, why am I paying $8,000 to have to do modules? So then I was sitting doing these goddamn modules and then you have to do these like quizzes after to prove that you listened to the modules, which I didn't listen to. But then it was like, you failed, do it again. And then I just fucking did it again. And then one of the modules was like the risks. And it was like, you could die. And I was like, perfect. Like, this is what I need. I'm so glad to be spending $8,000. Anyways, I guess it's probably required and makes sense. But like, come on. You know? And then I was talking to my friends and all of my friends who have done egg freezing have had really different experiences. Like some of my friends were like, it was great and I loved it and it was so interesting and I really didn't have that much pain. And then my other friends were like, this was the most painful thing that's ever happened to me and I felt them retrieving the eggs and I hated it. But then my friends who felt them retrieving the eggs were like, oh yeah, I think I opted out of the drugs that would really freeze me or like drug me out. And I was like, why the fuck are you opting out of the drugs? Like, then obviously you're gonna be in pain. Like, knock me the fuck out. Like, what, you want to go all natural? You're choosing this moment to go all natural in your healthcare? You're literally taking fucking eggs from your ovaries and putting them in a freezer. I think we're past the au natural life at this point. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, fine, if you want to have some fucking water birth with a fucking maid or whatever they're called. What are they called? Fuck. They're called the house people or whatever the fuck they do. Then fine, have an all natural water birth. But like, we're removing eggs from our ovaries and putting them in a freezer. Like, I think at this point we're okay to fucking take an Advil or a T3. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's my egg freezing update. I'll keep you guys updated. The next step will be to talk to the doctor and see if this is even an option for me based on my blood tests and ultrasound, which, like, I think it will be, but, you know, you never know. So I guess we'll see. I think because I'm you know, at the right age for it. I'm 30, and then some people are like, "Why are you doing this? You're 30. You're so young." And I'm like, "Okay, but like one day I'm gonna be 35, and then everyone's gonna be like, 'Well, you're 35. You should have done it when you're 30.'" And I'm gonna be like, "Well, I wanted to do it with my 30. They all said that I was too young." Anyways, so I am doing it now. That's good. And I did turn 30 recently, which was fine. I think I kind of blacked it out maybe, but I also think I'm kind of fine with it. But I was talking to my friend who also turned 30 recently, and she goes, "You know, Monica, I turned 30 and I'm not exactly where I thought that I would be at 30." And I'm like, "No fucking shit." You know, who the fuck turns 30 and says, "Yes, yes, this is where I thought that I would be at the age of 30. No one. If someone came up to me and said to me, "Yeah, I turned 30 recently and this is exactly where I thought I would be," I would be like, "You need to go to a mental institution." As if anyone who turns 30 is like, "Yes, this is correct. This is where I." But the thing for me is I've always felt this way. At any age that I've turned, I've just been like, "This is not where I thought that I would be." And even my friends who are 30 and have all the things in order that I guess people think they're supposed to have in order, like if they're married with kids and whatever else they're doing, even they are like, "What the heck? What the heck is 30?" Right? So I don't know what that was supposed to say, but I basically have just given up on being where I think I'm supposed to be at every age. Because I remember turning 15 and being like, "Oh my God, I haven't kissed a boy yet. I'm so behind." Guess what? I'm 30. I've kissed a few boys and probably could have gone without it. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of dating, I was on the dating apps recently. By recently, I mean yesterday. And I came across this guy's profile. And if you haven't been on the dating apps for a while, on Hinge, you can add a voice prompt. So you can like hear their voice. Sometimes they play a song. Sometimes they have like a friend talking on their behalf. So I came across this man's profile, and his voice prompt was like, "What my friend says about me," or like something like that. Like, "Why my friend says you should date me," or something. So I press play on this voice note, and it's a girl. Okay. "Why my friend says that you should date me," and it's his friend that's a girl. And the girl's like, "Hi, I'm Michael's best friend. I live with him. And we've been living together for 2 years, and I haven't wanted to kill him yet. And I think that says a lot, ladies. Michael is so funny, and he's so nice, and he's just a great guy. Like, you should date him." Why don't you date Michael? Why don't you date Michael? I cannot imagine one girl listening to that voice note being like, "Yep, this is what I want to get involved in. I want to heart Michael because his fucking girl that's a friend who lives with him, who has been living with him for 2 years, said, 'Oh my God, he's so nice and he's so funny and you should date him.'" Look, I'm not a girl who hates girls, okay? I don't hate this girl, but girl, you're in love with Michael. Michael, this roommate friend that's a girl is in love with you. I was so close, you guys. I was so close to responding to that voice note, being like, "Hey, by the way, no girl is going to like you." After listening to this voice note, no girl is going to want to fuck with you. And then I was like, "Monica, don't get involved. Don't get involved." And I didn't get involved. But Michael, I'm pretty sure his name was actually Michael. Sometimes I try to make fake names, whatever. Michael, if you're listening to this, number one, your roommate's in love with you. Number two, take the voice prompt off. Could you imagine being a girl being like, "Oh," I know I've already said it, "his girl that's a best friend recommends this guy." Girl, get a new roommate. Stop living with Michael. You love Michael. And if you don't love Michael, get out of this situation. You do love Michael. I was just I was just flabbergasted. I mean, I wasn't flabbergasted, but I was like, okay, so I'm already going to be a third wheel for our relationship. Perfect. Anyways, if you guys think that is normal, let me know. Don't think it's normal. Again, I don't hate girls, but like, pick me energy, honey. Like, get out. Get out. Michael is asking you to do his voice prompts on Hinge. Get out. Find yourself a man that instead of wanting to do his Hinge voice prompts, he wants to date you. Because I could hear the love in your voice. I've been there. I haven't made a voice prompt for guys, but I have. I have given guys that I like advice on their dating apps. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just instead of giving him advice, hey, on his dating apps, because you want to see his dating apps because you're a crazy person and you're having a mentee breaky, just express your emotions and then move on and then find a guy who doesn't show you his dating apps. I think that segment is only going to be applicable and relatable to the extreme mentally ill. So thank you guys for that one. Yeah, I gave men that I like advice on their dating apps. And then recently, I've grown. Recently, a guy that I like said, Monica, I want to look at my dating apps. Tell me if you like them. And I said, no. I actually have no fucking interest, my guy. This takes me into the next part of our podcast, which is tell men how you feel. I started doing it recently. Not that bad. I didn't die. It's not the greatest. I don't enjoy it. But when I tell men how I feel, they're like, oh, I had no idea. And I'm like, how? And maybe they're lying. And maybe it is what it is. But it's like the amount of years that I've held on to my emotions and not told men how I feel and been like, well, and just assumed how they feel about me is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And so tell them how you feel, because it's like worst case, they just don't like you back and then you can just figure it out. And I feel like as women, we have this thing where we're like, I don't want to send the paragraphs. I don't want to look crazy. I don't want to send him. Send the paragraphs. Send the paragraphs, girl. At this point, who the fuck cares? Because if you don't send the paragraphs live within you. And you might regret the paragraphs, and you might not get a response from the paragraphs, but you live and you learn from the paragraphs. And never be embarrassed. Never be embarrassed if he responds like a one-word text. If he doesn't respond, fuck it. Fuck it. Okay, this has gone on a super mentee breaky fucking thing. So again, we're going to move on. Now I'm going to talk about my week in stand-up comedy. So I did this show outside at this cafe in Toronto called First and Last Cafe, and we did it on the patio, and it was really fun. But there's this huge building being built, like condo development, right beside where the cafe is. So I was doing my set, and then all of a sudden this huge voice comes over the entire area being like, you are trespassing. Get off the property right now. And I was like, is this what is, and we're all like looking at each other, and it kind of sounded like a voice recording, but then all of a sudden the voice goes, we see you in the gray sweatshirt and the red t-shirt. Get off the property right now. The police have been dispatched. Please leave. And I'm just on stage. Like, you guys want to hear some fucking jokes about my vagina? And then people were like, is this part of the show? And we were all just like uncomfortable because it was such an aggressive voice. And when he said gray sweatshirt, we all like looked down. I'm wearing a gray sweatshirt now. I wasn't meant to, but I was wearing black, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I was scared that we were like trespassing as the comedy show. But then when they said gray sweatshirt and red t-shirt, we were like, okay, well, I guess it's like not us. And then I just had to like continue with my jokes. It was kind of funny. I like turned to the building and I was like, hey, trespassers, you guys like pretending to do crowd work with the trespassers. And then I was like, I probably shouldn't do that because like the police are involved. And then I did another show that I absolutely bombed. For anyone listening, bomb means I did bad, because one of my friends was like, oh, you bombed. That means you're the bomb. You did well. I'm like, no, bomb is bad. And people are always like, Monica, do you bomb? And I'm like, yes, I bomb. So I was hosting this show, and there was like a row of 19-year-olds in the very front row. One of them was celebrating their birthday. And I guess that could have been fun, but it was not, because these girls were kind of like too cool for school and kind of just like looking at each other to see if it was cool to laugh, right? And it was just such a bad vibe. And then I just like, it felt like high school, right? When like the cool girls are like, that's like weird. Like, what? Like, what is she talking about? That's so weird. And then even at one point, everyone was bombing. It wasn't just me. And at one point, because I was hosting, so I had to keep going on this goddamn stage. And at one point I made a joke and they would laugh and then they'd be like, what? And I literally turned to them and I was like, you guys can just laugh. Like, you don't have to say what. You don't have to say the word what. And then all the comics in the back died because we were all like so sick of it. But if that's your vibe, just don't come to a comedy show. Like, just leave us alone, you know? Like, all comics have already been bullied throughout their lives by you. We can be left alone. So yes, I do bomb, and yes, I did bomb, and that happened. I also did another show where I found some other accountants because I have a joke about being an accountant, and they were like, where did you work? And I was like, Ernst & Young. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I mean, I am. I did work at Ernst & Young. Maybe they'll pursue legal action now. But one of them was, and then they were like, oh, I worked at Deloitte, and he worked at KPMG. And I was like, oh my God, what'd you guys do? And then we ended up just having a conversation. I was like, oh, I'm doing stand-up comedy right now. So let me finish my comedy skit and then we can talk. And they were like, yeah, KK. But then we didn't talk because I went to another show. But anyways, that was fun. It is fun. Like, I have met accountants in crowds, which I guess makes sense. There's other accountants in the world that go to comedy shows. And they're like, yeah, I also wanted to get hit by a car, because that's one of my jokes, that I got hit by a car. But it was, we all want to get hit by cars when we're doing accounting to get some time off work. I won an award at my job for getting hit by a car. Best audit injury. Thank you, EY, for that one. Highlight of my career. Okay, now I'm going to do a quick segment about the new Taylor Swift album. I personally was very let down. I don't like when she does this whole thing with the Easter eggs and the connections and the names of people and the songs. Just give me the music, girlfriend. Just give me the music. The album has been growing on me. Will give it that. But I'm the type of person where if I listen to a song one time and I don't like it, it's very, very hard for me to listen to it again. I'll do it for Taylor, but I still don't love it. So my songs, in case anyone gives a shit, that I like from the new Taylor Swift album are Down Bad, I Can Change Him, No Really I Can. I hate the melody of I Can Change Him, No Really I Can, but the lyrics on point, girlfriend. I like I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. That's a banger. And my favorite one is I Look in People's Windows, which is one of the ones that she released after the main release. And I think it's like a really random deep cut, but I'm obsessed with it. But I could see why no one else would like it, but I like it. And then the Bolter and the Manuscript are okay. Like, I downloaded them, but they were like, you know? So that's my list in case anyone gave one fuck. Something else I want to say is reality television is really fucking good right now. So if you're a Bravo girly or guy or non-binary, honestly, congrats to us. Summer House, kickin'. Fucking Vanderpump Rules, kickin'. The Valley, I wasn't sure about The Valley, and that is kickin' AF. Like, I was like, who are these new random people? But I am down bad. Kristen, messy, but glad she's back on TV. I really think that reality television is like WWE wrestling, where it's like you kind of know it's fake, but it's such good entertainment that you're like, yes. I also sometimes question myself because why do I like to see the demise of relationships so much on television? Why is that something that brings me so much joy? Like, you know, I'm watching Summer House knowing that Carl and Lindsay are going to break up. And I'm like, this is true happiness serotonin for me. Is that a feeling that I should have? And the thing is, I know it's a common feeling because I know we're all feeling that way, watching, being like, we know this is happening. We know this is But why does that bring us so much joy? Maybe I'll just accept it, or perhaps I'll talk to my therapist about it. Let me know what you think I should do about that one. Also, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I was watching Buying Beverly Hills, which is Mauricio's show, which is Kyle's husband, about real estate. And in Buying Beverly Hills, you know that they're going to be breaking up at the end of the season. They're going to be divorcing, and you get to watch kind of the divorce happen throughout the season. Why do I love that so much? Why is that so great for me? Something to ponder. Is it great for you? Do you love watching divorces on reality television? Let me know. Write into Menti Breaky. Keep listening, keep tuning in. Let us know your Menti Breaky thoughts and stories, and let us know if you would like to be our Menti Breaky queen, because Hannah will be back and we will be doing that, and we are very excited and we love the support so much. Like, getting it in person is like, my heart could explode. And so, yeah, love you guys. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in, and stay Menti Breaky. Is that how I should log off? Stay Menti Breaky. I hate that. I'm never doing that again. I'll think of something else. Have a great day. Goodbye.